Buckle up, folks, because this week in the NBA was anything but predictable.
Yeah, we saw some wild games, that's for sure.
We've got blowouts, we've got nail biters, and we've got some young players who are really starting to make a name for themselves.
It was a week that really reminded us that anything can happen on any given night in the NBA.
We're going to be talking about the Suns, the Grizzlies, the Bulls, the Pistons, the Pacers, the Knicks, the 76ers, the Raptors, the Lakers, and the Jazz.
So pretty much a deep dive into everything that was going on this week.
Get ready for some surprises, because one team really did not see it coming this
Oh,
week.
yeah, definitely an upset that nobody predicted.
Let's start things off with the Suns and the Grizzlies.
All right, so the Grizzlies took this one 119 to 112.
But it was a close one, right?
Oh, yeah, much closer than that final score might suggest.
It sounds like Ja Morant was a big factor in the Grizzlies' win.
He was absolutely electric, just incredible agility and scoring prowess. He was really putting on a show out there.
Yeah, but Devin Booker wasn't slouching for the Suns either.
No, he had a great game too, putting up 31 points. But in the end, it just wasn't enough to overcome the Grizzlies' firepower.
Well, speaking of firepower, let's talk about the Pistons.
Okay, this is where that surprise comes in.
They had a huge win this week against the Bulls, and I have to admit, I did not see this one coming at all.
No, I don't think anyone did. It was a total blowout.
What was the final score again?
Pistons won 132 to 92.
Wow, that's a statement win for sure.
Yeah, they absolutely dominated the Bulls. And it wasn't just one guy having a hot night. It was a total team effort.
Sounds like the Pistons had their shooting shoes on.
Oh, yeah. They were hitting threes, they were getting to the basket, and they were playing with a real sense of urgency.
You know, Cade Cunningham's name keeps coming up.
He was phenomenal in this game, really showing his potential as a leader.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the Pacers and the Knicks.
Another really interesting matchup. The Knicks ended up winning this one, 128 to 115.
So a bit closer than the Pistons game, but still a decisive win for the Knicks.
Yeah, this game was all about strategic plays and teamwork. Both teams really came prepared.
Julius Randle had a big night for the Knicks, right?
He was dominant, scoring 32 points and grabbing 15 rebounds, a real force on both ends of the court.
And what about the Pacers? Any standout performances for them?
Tyrese Halliburton had some flashes of brilliance, but the Knicks' defense was just too much for them to handle.
Well, you can't win them all, right?
That's the truth.
Now on to a game that had me on the edge of my seat, the 76ers versus the Raptors.
This one was a nail-biter, went right down to the wire.
Final score.
Raptors pulled out the victory, 106 to 103.
Wow, talk about a close call.
It was all about resilience and clutch performance. Both teams were playing with so much heart.
Yeah, those close games are always the most exciting to watch.
Absolutely. The energy in the arena was electric. You could feel the tension in the air.
So who are the key players in this one?
Well, Joel Embiid had a strong game for the 76ers, but it was Fred VanVleet who really stole the show.
Yeah, I heard he hit some game-winning shots.
Oh, he did. Those final moments were unbelievable. He hit 2 huge three-pointers in the last minute, including the game winner, with just seconds left on the clock. Ice in his veins.
Okay, and lastly, let's wrap things up with the Lakers and the Jazz.
That was good.
This one was another high-scoring affair, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. The Lakers really showcased their explosive offense in this one, winning 132 to 113.
I imagine LeBron James had something to do with that.
Of course, he was leading the charge with his scoring, playmaking, and just overall leadership. It was a classic LeBron performance.
So, a good night for the Lakers, but the Jazz still put up a fight.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell put in a solid effort for the Jazz, but they just couldn't keep up with the Lakers' offensive onslaught.
You know, as we're talking about all these games, one thing that really stands out to me is the importance of teamwork.
Absolutely. It's not just about individual talent anymore. It's about how well those players mesh together and play as a cohesive unit.
It's like a well-oiled machine, each part working in sync to achieve a common goal.
And the teams that have that synergy, that chemistry, those are the teams that are really making waves this season.
It's almost like a hidden ingredient, that extra something special that separates the good teams from the great teams.
Yeah, and it's fascinating to see how that dynamic plays out on the court, how different teams approach it, and how it impacts their overall success.
So we've got these amazing individual players, but like you said, it's the teamwork that really elevates a team's performance.
It's like a puzzle. You need all the right pieces to fit together to create the complete picture.
Exactly. And speaking of those puzzle pieces, let's talk about a couple of young players who are really starting to make a name for themselves. Cade Cunningham and Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh, they are definitely players to watch. both with incredible potential and unique skill sets.
Cunningham seems to be thriving with the Pistons, leading that team with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, he's got this natural leadership quality about him, and his court vision is phenomenal. He can create his own shot, but he's also incredibly unselfish, always looking to set up his teammates.
And Halliburton, he had some really impressive moments with the Pacers, even though they didn't get the win against the Knicks.
He's such a smooth player, and his shooting stroke is so pure. I think the Pacers are still figuring out how to best utilize his talents, but he's definitely a key piece of their future.
It's exciting to see these young guys coming into the league and making an immediate impact. It really adds another layer of intrigue to the whole season.
Absolutely. It's like watching the next generation of stars emerge right before our eyes. And that brings us to another crucial aspect of the game, coaching.
Right, because even with all the talent in the world, you need someone to guide and direct that talent.
Exactly. A good coach is like a maestro, orchestrating the team, making sure everyone is playing in harmony and maximizing their potential.
It's not just about X's and O's anymore. It's about understanding the players, their strengths, their weaknesses, and creating a system that allows them to flourish.
And it's about making adjustments on the fly, adapting to different opponents in in-game situations. It's a real chess match out there, and the coaches who can outmaneuver their opponents often have the upper hand.
We've also got to talk about the impact of analytics and technology, which are playing an increasingly important role in the NBA.
Oh yeah, the game is evolving, and data is driving a lot of those changes. Teams are using analytics to analyze everything from shot selection to defensive rotations, player fatigue, and so much more.
It's like having a secret weapon, a way to gain a competitive edge by understanding the numbers and using that information to make smarter decisions.
And it's not just about the numbers themselves, it's about how you interpret those numbers and translate them into actionable strategies.
So we've got teamwork, individual talent, coaching, analytics, technology, all these factors coming together to shape the landscape of the NBA.
It's a complex and ever-changing game, which is what makes it so captivating to watch.
And unpredictable, too.
Oh yeah, that's the beauty of it. You never know what's going to happen next.
It's incredible how much depth there is to the game when you really start to break it down.
Yeah, it's easy to just focus on the scores and the highlights, but there's so much more going on beneath the surface.
And that's what we've been trying to uncover in this deep dive, right? To really get into the nitty-gritty of what makes the NBA so compelling.
Exactly. And I think this week's games have given us a lot to think about.
So if you had to pick just one game from this week to rewatch, which one would it be?
Oh, that's a tough one. There were so many great matchups.
I mean, the Grizzlies and Suns game was a real back-and-forth battle. John Morant was putting on a show.
And you can't forget about the Pistons. They really shocked everyone with that win over the Bulls.
And the 76ers and Raptors game, talk about a nail-biter. Those final minutes were absolutely insane.
I know, right? Fred VanVleet hitting those clutch shots, it was like something out of a movie.
But it wasn't just about the individual performances. It was about the teamwork, the strategy, the coaching, all those factors coming together to create these incredible moments.
Yeah, and that's what makes the NBA so special. It's a team sport, but within that team framework, you have these incredible individual talents shining through.
So which game would you choose?
You know what? I think I'd have to go with the 76ers and Raptors game. The intensity, the drama, the back-and-forth action, it had everything you could ask for in a basketball game.
That's a great choice. I think I'd have to agree with you on that one. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, let's leave our listeners with a final thought.
Right, here it is. Pay attention to the details, the little things that often go unnoticed.
The subtle movements, the communication between players, the adjustments made by the coaches, all those tiny nuances that can have a huge impact on the game.
Because that's where the true beauty of basketball lies, in those layers of complexity and strategy that make it such a fascinating sport to watch and analyze.
So, until next time, keep your eyes peeled and keep enjoying the game.